This is a brief overview for the new user management module that we put in place for you to have agency administrators manage all of the users that are tied to their agency. So the first thing you want to do is to go to the Agencies tab in SAMIS to do the setup. So if I pull up one of our existing agencies here and I go to the Modify option, you'll notice we have a new field in here for administrators. So if I wanted to make this user, Webauthor Support, the agency administrator, I can just go ahead and save that. And so now when that user comes in, you want to also grant them access to the new module we have, which is called Agency Admin. And so this account that I'm in is tied already to Community Health. So once I log in and I click on the Agency Admin tab that I've been granted access to, I can now see a dashboard that shows me any recent records that I've looked at for users within that agency. So I can see the logins over time. And then I can go to the Users tab here, and where I can manage a lot of things that we're able to do on the main admin side of the portal. But now we're giving the agency administrators the ability to just manage their subset of users. So here within Community Health, if I wanted to look at this user, Alexander, I can see that they've logged in 85 times. The last time was back on May 8th. And once I pull that up, it's a screen similar to what we have in the main admin view. We're just showing a subset of information here. And for the user, for the admin, they can click on Modify. They can deactivate the user, turn off, reset, force them to reset their password, make any changes to their contact information, as well as the permissions around agencies and reports. So there is a group section here, and I'll explain that in a bit. But it's a way for the agency administrators to manage the groups that the user are a part of. And what happens is when the user logs in, they'll only inherit the groups that have been identified here for that agency. So when they're working, with that group. Now, we don't want them to pick, obviously, any group that we have within the system. So the way you manage that is if you go to the admin screen and then go to groups, and let's say we wanted to make provider metrics an option for users to select. So now there's a tags feature here within groups that we've added. And what we want to do here is add the tag provider manage, all one word. And just hit enter. So it shows up as a tag. And once we scroll to the bottom here and save this, what this means is every time we go to add a user or modify an existing user, that group will show up that we can grant permission to. So if we go back now to the same user and hit modify, you'll see that provider metrics will show up here. And then we can just go ahead and add that user or add that group to the user's permissions. So again, you want to be careful that you're only adding the provider manage tag to groups that don't give a higher level of permission that you would want for your agency users. So you want to have things like metrics or SAMIS or fiscal, things like that, obviously not a system administrator. So when this user logs in, they'll have access as a provider metrics group, as well as the everyone group, which again would be all users that are listed in the portal. Now, the one other option I wanted just to show you here as well too, because this came up before. In some cases, we might have it where a user belongs to more than one agency, or at least they want to be given access to more than one agency. And in this case, let's say I go in and I want to add a new user. So first, we want to require the email address, and when you put that in, tells me here that the user already exists and is tied to another agency. Now, in this case, I can't modify any of the contact information, for obvious reasons. But what I can do would be to go in here, and for this group, Community Health, I can come in and indicate which groups that the user would have access to, indicate the agencies and programs, as well as the reports. So this is a way for agencies to add existing users to their own functions without having to update their contact information or requiring duplicate user accounts. I hope that helps. This is an overview again of the new user management module.